Hi, it's Jen Carter here, and today I'm going to show you a new die set that's been released from Frantic Stamper called Pop-Up Bases, and it's a set of 7 dies. And if you follow my blog, you've probably seen this card recently. This is the outside, and then when you open the card up, it has a pop-up mason jar inside with lilacs on it. And I don't know if you can see kind of how the side of the card looks, but there's a little pop-up mechanism inside of the card. Now, I've made cards like this before where I've made something pop up on the inside, but it always takes so many measuring steps and you have to get out your knife, and so this is just a really awesome die set that makes putting together these pop-up dies so easy. So when you get your pop-up bases, these are the dies that you get. There's so many different things that you can use. The die that I'm going to really use today is this little one here, and I'll show you exactly what you do with it. And then there's 3 coordinating dies that also go along with it that you can use to pop up all kinds of things inside of your card. And then there's another little die, it's this one right here, that you can use to make images move and spin on the card front. You can use it as a tab, you can use it to tie ribbon through, lots of little different things that you can use this one for. And then there's also these half circle tabs that you can use as closures, as like a little lip. You can use them to hold pieces in place. Like if you wanted one on each side, you could put a gift card inside there. You could use them to hold a little sentiment card, things like that. But today I'm going to show you how to use this piece, and then you'll also get the idea of how you use the coordinating pieces that go with it. So we're going to create a card very similar to this, only it will be with a different flowers. So starting off, I used this set from Frantic Stamper called Milk Bottle and Mason Jar. It's a set of 3. And this is the die that I used. And I've already cut one of them out here. I love the details that you get with this die. Even without using stamps, you have all the details cut into the die already, and I love that about this set. It's really nice that way. Okay, so I've cut out one of those already. Now I've also cut out some of the flowers, and these flowers in my card I used the mix and match lilacs. Today I'm going to use the mix and match poppies just to kind of change things up a bit. Then you can also get these mix and match stems. And I love these stems because I have flower dies, but I don't have stems for them. And so this set is very, very versatile that you can use stems. The flowers come with leaves too. As you've seen, I've cut some of those out as well. But these stems are sold separately. Now I'm going to use one more die set today on this card, and that is this Country Hearts die collection. This is a great collection of hearts, and the one I'm going to use today is this little heart. There's a big heart just like it included in this die set as well that looks like this, but here's the littler version. And what I'm going to do is take my die. I love like the painted mason jars, and so that's kind of what I'm trying to mimic here, is that this is like an aqua painted mason jar, but I wanted you to be able to see the stems inside the card. So I'm going to cut out a heart from the mason jar, and when I do that, I get the mason jar, and then I get this heart, and it cuts out this cool little outline for it too, which I really love. So now I have 3 pieces. What I want to do is I've cut a little piece of acetate, and this one has my fingerprints on it, so it needs to be cleaned off. You can get these little pieces of acetate like on an old transparency. You can, sometimes when you buy clear stamps, they'll include this piece on the back of your stamps, and I've saved all mine so I can use one of those pieces. You can buy clear cardstock, that's the same thing. And all I'm going to do is adhere it to the back of my mason jar so that it kind of gives that shiny glass-like look. And then after I've done that, I've cut this same heart out with a slightly darker color than the cardstock I've used. And I'm just going to use this little outline piece, and I'm going to glue it right on top of the acetate when I have that all adhered to give it a little bit of distinction, a little bit of a pop of color. And so when I've done all that, this is what my mason jar looks like. I don't know if you can see the shine that's on that acetate, but it has a clear shine, and this is a little bit dusty right now, but it gives you an idea of what it's going to look like. All right, looking at these flowers real quick before we move on to the next thing, I wanted to show you another quick tip about them. They have lots of details in them as well. And you can tell on these two here, I have inserted a little piece of purple cardstock to contrast that, to show where the center of the flowers are, to give it a little bit of dimension there. And I want to show you an easy way to do that. I've taken a piece just like this, and I popped out the center. That's what this little tiny piece right here is. I popped out the center, and I put a little piece of Scotch tape over the back of it. You can see that there. Then what I'm going to do is take the purple one that's just like it and line it right up on top of my pink cardstock. And then I have a little pin here, and I keep my pins here all the time because it seems like I always have a purpose for them. And I'm just going to poke that cardstock down. And so right away I have the inside of my flower done, and I've used this little flower as the stencil template as to where to put that centerpiece. So I didn't have to try and pick up this little tiny piece that sometimes they can be so hard to manipulate. I didn't have to try and pick it up and put it down in there exactly where I wanted it. I could just press it right on top. And I'm just pressing lightly so that I don't get holes in my cardstock. But it's just a great little tip on how to adhere tiny little pieces. All right, the next thing we're going to do is prepare the inside of this card. So for this card, you can see that there's a mat all the way around my card that's a 1/4 inch smaller than the base, the outside, the base of my card. So I've prepared a piece here. This piece here will be the outside of my card, and then I have a piece cut that will be the matted base. And what I've done is I found the middle and I scored 2 little lines. I only scored them a little way though. I didn't score them very far. This is going to act as a guide now for where I'm going to place this die. This die cuts and it scores. So it's going to score these lines, and it's going to score a line here, and then it's going to cut this long rectangle shape. So I've taken a piece of, this is just a piece of a Post-it note tape, and I'm going to line this up on top using those lines that I've scored. And I don't know how well you can actually see these lines, but I've just scored them to about here on each side. So I didn't score the whole piece, and that's so that the inside of here will be more stable. I'll show you what I mean in just a minute. So I'm going to line up these with the lines that I've cut, and I'm just going to put this Post-it note tape right down on top of that like that. And I'm going to run it through my die cut machine. After I've die cut it, I'm going to just take that piece off, and the Post-it note kept it in place perfectly. I'm going to take that piece off, and now you can see I have the scored line here where it's cut, and I have this line here where it's scored, and this line here where it's cut. So now I'm going to start manipulating this piece. But the reason that I didn't score it all the way through, even though I just kind of bent it out slightly there, was so that it would have more stability. Now when you attach your piece to this, it will have more stability, and it won't be wobbly. It'll help loosen that up. But you can go ahead and just fold this piece. I like to take a bone folder and just make it nice and crisp, and that'll help you later when you adhere it as well. So you can attach your image going up and down, which is how we're going to do it. Or you can turn this and have it sticking out long like this. But for this one, we're going to attach this face this way. Now, you can see if I were to leave it just like this, you're going to be able to see that bracket. And so what I will do before I attach this is I will take another little piece of cardstock to put behind there to cover that up. But first I will go ahead and arrange all of my stems in the vase and my flowers on the vase. And then when I'm done with that, I'll take a little piece of scrap aqua paper. I'll put it behind there as a sandwich and just cut it off. Then I'm going to attach that whole thing to this, so you won't be able to see it, kind of like on here. After I adhered the stems, then I covered it up with the blue cardstock, so then you cannot see the little tab behind it. So that'll be an important piece. But I hope that gives you an idea of how you use these dies, and I think that you will really enjoy them. There's just so many possibilities with them. Thank you for joining me today. Have a great day. Bye.